Hey everybody, it's Emmitt here at Solar Farm Summit 2025 in Chicago at McCormick Place. Now, if you know me, you know it's about What's Up, and that's WATTS, Solar Podcast. Or if you need fractional training, I'm that guy that help you out. Can't afford a full-time trainer? Got you with the LMS. But one thing that we are going to talk about now is solar trackers. Now, solar trackers give you more yield depending on where you are. Can you talk about your, David, right?
Yes.
David, what is so unique about your tracker?
So we're from Solargik. We are a relatively young startup in the tracking space, doing the hardware and the software around tracking. And as you said, trackers increase yield. But a lot of the legacy trackers that you know well were built for a world where solar was built on big open fields, nice rectangular plots of land. But those aren't the plots that we get to build on these days, right?
You know, and it's pretty convenient that we're here at a brownfield summit. Yeah. So now you're seeing different kinds of aspects. You're seeing, you may be on an elevation or a pitch, or you never know, you never can tell. Sometimes you have to take what's available to you. And is that where your trackers come into play or give you some of the most value?
Exactly. So we have the shortest tracker table on the market, and our tracker structure is much lighter than you'd see with other structures.
This looks like it could be used for residential.
I wouldn't go that far. But we have a very, very small and efficient motor and drive unit that drives these short tracker tables. And those tracker tables enable us to do very interesting things. So to pack in power density on very constrained and oddly shaped sites, which we're really seeing is relevant for especially in the community solar type space, those smaller projects or parcels with many different parcels. It also allows us to build on slopes up to 30% without the need for grading. And because we have these short rows, we can be much higher resolution with our tracking algorithms and to prevent inter-row shading between our thing. We call it high definition backtracking, where it allows us to really get the most out of every field, even if our terrain is doing all kinds of things like very high undulations, like bubbly fields, you know, moguls like in snowing, like in skiing, but to really make the maximum out of these really fields that were once considered less than ideal that developers moved away from, cutting down on grading costs, cutting down on development costs, and really optimizing land use and getting around problematic land areas like water table issues, erosion issues, to really make the best out of it, looking at the whole picture of the development.
So, and you meet all the UL requirements, of course, right?
We're working on UL now, so there you go.
See? Didn't think I was going to put that.
Maybe
you know, UL is very important when it comes to, most people think of UL when it comes to solar or battery. UL 1741, UL, you go down the gamut of it. But most people don't know that there's a UL standard that is related to racking as well, particularly when it comes to structure and non-structure. I just wanted to make sure so that people would be right there. What is the maintenance like for these? Because right now I'm looking at this tracker and you're kind of demonstrating it as it pitches. Do you have an automatic feature that flattens out if the wind gets too heavy?
Yeah, so like a lot of trackers, when we detect on site that there's a high wind loads, the tracker will go into a safe stow position, which for us is at 0 degrees. One of the benefits of our shorter table is that because the torque tubes are very short and not connected to one another, it reduces the concern about torsional galloping, which when you get into the high wind loads, and so we don't need dampers on our tracker, for example. It also helps reduce the cost of the system. So again, our trackers have been tested normal ground height, of course, and also wind tunnel testing up to the tall agri-PV systems that you see here, which as you go higher, you have to be more concerned about the wind loads, of course. So definitely a key element. And also with our algorithms, when we're here at the Agri-PV conference, we also have things like crop protect, ways for the farmer to determine where the tracker needs to be in order to maximize sunlight getting to the crops, or in the case of perhaps there being too much sunlight, to actually shade the plants if the plants are getting overheated.
So you're built for agrivoltaics.
We have a long line of agrivoltaics solutions, including the hardware and the software. It's a smaller part of our business, but we found that with the smaller table, the lighter weight structure, we could build these really challenging agrivoltaics projects cost effectively. So like for example, we have here a project that's about 15 feet high over a mature vineyard.
Oh, wow.
Grapes, lychees, mangoes, apples, all different types of crops, and of course the grazing applications as well. But the flexible structure allows us to do really interesting things around dual use.
So I've seen in Europe where they use this cable structure. Are you familiar with that?
Like the module getting strung out? Yes.
Yeah, so it's stranded out,
Yeah.
so you could get much higher than you would. Are you guys going to be getting into those aspects, or is that something totally different?
We're single axis tracking. That's our core. That's our business. Those applications, I think they have their place, but we're seeing ours using kind of a not totally standard, but definitely what a lot of EPCs recognize as a single axis tracker.
Okay, this is a question that I ask a lot of people.
Yeah.
Who's your perfect customer?
Perfect customer are those developers and EPCs who are really trying to look for that extra edge to unlock those challenging terrains, the challenging plots of land that they thought they couldn't build on, but have really strong reasons to go after those development sites. So getting that community solar closer to urban populations, building around challenging sites around data centers where they have a piece of land that they're saying, hey, we could never actually deploy solar there. We want to help them take a new look at these sites and unlock ROI.
So where can people find out more information about your products and offers?
Solargik.com. Come to our website, fill out our form, follow us on LinkedIn. We're very active on LinkedIn.
Now the geek is G-I-K. G-I-K is geek. Solargik. Like me, Solargik. Hey, thank you so much for the opportunity. And hey, remember, come down to Solar Farm Summit 2025. If you can't catch it in 2025, there's always going to be a 2026, because when you're in solar and when you're in agrivoltaics, you're always thinking about the future. Till next time, talk to you.